The Bill and Kelly Show is recorded at Studio A at Executive Suite Squared in beautiful Hammond, Indiana. Now, here's Bill and Kelly. Hello, and welcome to the Bill and Kelly Show. Tonight, our guests are, first, all the way from Australia, Bill Edgar, who provides kind of a unique service, if you will. His company name is Coffin Confessions, and he kind of, how can I say this, provides a voice from the grave for people who can't speak for themselves. Really looking forward to that. And following him, our next guest will be Sam Ellie, who's going to talk to us about the organization Rebuilding Together Duneland, who goes out into the community annually, which is coming up here very soon. On October 3rd, they'll be going out into the community and helping out folks who need home repairs, everything from redoing a roof to putting in guide rails for people who normally couldn't have these repairs done themselves. And then we'll finish up the evening with our special musical guest, Lou Samaniego, who is going to be wrapping up the evening quite nicely for us with a special piece of music. And with that, we'll get on with the show. Hello, welcome to the Bill and Kelly Show. Our guest today, all the way from Australia, is Bill Edgar, who has a kind of an interesting organization. He has a company called Coffin Confessor. And I think I'm going to let you tell the story, Bill, because I'm pretty sure I'll mess it up. But Bill, welcome to our show. And I take it, I'm almost afraid to ask you what the weather's like there. But, it's summertime or fall time here, so it can't be too much different. So what is it like there?
G'day, and thanks for having me. Look, the weather's great here at the moment. We're just in spring at the moment, so it's quite nice. It's one of those things, everything comes alive after winter, so yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I know the summers can get pretty brutal there. I mean, like, gosh, what Fahrenheit here, like 120 degrees. And so, well, let's get after it. Let's talk about your story, who you are, your background, and how you came to develop this unique company.
Yeah, so basically I am a private investigator. I work for large corporations where I infiltrate staff. I work within the workplace, and I may impersonate a cleaner, security guard, or a kitchen hand. I'm contracted for 8 weeks at a time, and I uncover the theft within the workplace. And I also investigate finances. So I have another company called Freedom from Debt Collectors, where I actually help people out of their debt with debt collectors. So banks sell their debts, and debt collectors could buy them for less than $1. So and yet chase the person for $10,000. So I do a lot of that. And I was hired by a gentleman that asked me to investigate his finances, which I did. And he disclosed that he was on his deathbed and he had terminal cancer, pancreatic, and he was going to die soon. And we started talking about death, the afterlife, things like that. And we really got involved and really started chatting. And then I said to him, why don't you do your own eulogy? Why don't you leave something behind? And he said, you know what? He said, I'd love to, but my family will not play it at the funeral. They will not read it. They'll find it too intimidating, too confronting. And although they'll say they will, I know they won't. And I suggested, out of a joke to start with, I said, how about I crash your funeral for you? And about 3 weeks later, I get this text message from the gentleman, and he said, Bill, you're on. You're going to crash my funeral for me. And I'm going to pay you $10,000 to do it. Wow. And I was like, okay. So I went back. We had a meeting. We had a talk, and I have a contract, and I have a video of each of my clients just in case anything goes wrong and I can't be litigated or arrested. And he started talking about his best mate that he knew him for years. And his best mate, whilst he's on his deathbed, he could see his best mate trying to crack onto his wife. And he couldn't do anything about it, couldn't say anything. He was like, he's knocking on death's door, he's got nothing to worry about. And I'm hearing this story and I'm thinking, okay, it could be a bit of a revenge thing, but let's set something up. And as an investigator, I've got equipment that I can put it around the house and I can, see what's going on for myself. And what I saw was pretty full on. And his best mate was really pushing the advances on his wife. And the wife was not having a bar of it. She loved her husband. She just had nothing to do with it. Yet he'd keep pushing and pushing. And so I suggested, yeah, okay, not a problem. How about we crash the funeral when your best mate's doing the eulogy? And he said, yeah, perfect. Let's do it. So he also asked if there's going to be 3 people at the funeral that he did not want there. And it was his brother's wife and their child, who's an adult child. Anyway, he said, I'd like you to ask them to stand up and then I'd like you to tell them to fuck off. I haven't seen them in 30 years. Why are they here? And if they're here for respect, then maybe you should have respect when I was alive and come and see me then. So, yeah, and that's sort of how it started. And then I went to the funeral and I did exactly what he said.
I just listening to this, I think this has a making of a movie. The Matchmaker movie? This could totally be a movie. Yeah. So,
I've got to say, I have been inundated with producers and directors and script writers, and So.
I bet I'll be your agent. Yeah. So.
Well, I haven't got one at the moment. I'm just going by, I don't know. I'm just flying by the seat of my pants at the moment.
Yeah, this sounds like a great script. Absolutely great script. So that basically, and you do this all over the world, right? It's just not in Australia. You're called upon to go all over the world. Wow.
Yeah, I'll go anyway.
So what? I mean, so I assume whoever contracts you to do this, they have to pay your transportation and room and board and so on. So if someone's out there, and I'm thinking about contracting your services myself, because I can envision telling someone off from the grave. I've got it all in my head right now.
You've got to think that the people that pay this, they don't need the money where they're going, and I never have a complaint.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, but the beauty of letting their feelings be known after they're gone, and the people in the room can't do a doggone thing about it. That's the beauty of it.
That's right. Yeah.
What are they going to do? Kill them? So
you're basically releasing all the skeletons in their closet for them.
Yes. So now you do another service as well, which is kind of intriguing. Person may not be totally proud of some of the things that they have in their possession, but they don't want their family to know about them. So talk about that.
Yeah. So after that original funeral, a lady came up and she said, "Look, I'd love you to see my auntie. She's dying," and that's how the funeral started to keep going from one to another to another. And between that, I got a call off a lady in a palliative care unit. She was a nurse. And she said, a gentleman would like to, have a conversation with you if you don't mind. And I thought it was about a funeral and a crashing of the funeral. But in fact, he asked me if I could go back to his premises and remove some sensitive items that he didn't want his sons and his daughter-in-laws to find whilst he's in hospital. He did have a fall and he got told that he'd never return home. And unfortunately, when that happens, you haven't got time to go back. What do? You could die today out on the street, and what's at home that you don't want found? And everybody's got something. Doesn't matter what it is, there's something. It could be money, drugs, it could be sex toys, it could be anything at all. So this gentleman had, basically a sex dungeon in his premises, and he's 88 years of age. I mean, good on him. I mean, live and let live, I say. But, so I collect all those items and I incinerate them. I take a video, obviously, and show him that it's all been incinerated. Any personal effects that he really wanted taken, like money or jewelry, they're actually given to whoever he instructs me to give to. Again, when I approach those people, I show them the video that, you know, their father, uncle, whoever it is, has asked me to deliver this to you, you know, and they're very grateful, you know, but I do not disclose anything else, and I don't tell them about the, you know, the dungeon or anything else. You know, it's all confidential.
Yeah, I'm just thinking myself, I've got all my Star Trek memorabilia and toys. Yeah, it's the life I lead, you know what I'm saying? It's boring. Yeah, you'd have a pretty easy time clearing out. You may have to find all my little Spock emblems and statues.
You never know. I mean, there could be something your wife's hidden around the place.
You know what? You know, yeah, that could be. There's some people I want their hands to get on these things. True that, I tell you. Oh man! So, what other? So you do kind of what's a house sweep. You clean the house, make sure that.
Correct.
Does any of that? And I know your private investigator says can kind of get touchy, but does some of that maybe stray over into some illegal merchandise or stuff that you wouldn't want to? Do you ever say no? I can't do that.
No, I do everything.
Oh, you do everything.
Never say no. I do everything. So at the end of the day, if it's illegal items and stuff like that, I mean, I can't class them as being illegal or anything. I mean, I'm just told to do something to destroy it, and that's what I do. I mean,
you can't pass that judgment, so, yeah.
No, that's right. And it's like doing crashing a funeral. I mean, you don't shoot the messenger. I mean, half the people in the mourners, they want to hear what their loved one has left unsaid. So, I mean, basically, you get the crowd on your side, you're pretty right. Yeah. And I guess it's just with the authorities, you know, I've spoken to lawyers, barristers, police, you know, detectives and everything about this. And they've said, you know, if you come across something that you think is a crime or morally acceptable, will you report it to us? And I'm like, well, you know what? I thought about it. And if I find an item in a property and think, yes, of course, I think I would, right? Not a problem. But if someone wants to, let's say they want to disclose a crime they committed, and it's a very serious crime. My instructions are now is that they write it down, they post it to me, and I will not open that until their death, till their funeral. So I'll be as shocked as everybody else. And if I don't know it, I can't report it.
Right.
But once I know about it, obviously I'd report it. So that's how we're sort of getting around that idea.
I see. I see. So, so outside, so how does someone contact you? Do you want to let us? Do you have a website? Do you Facebook page?
Well, yeah. So what happened is I ended up receiving so many emails from people with some of the most bizarre stories and confessions and what they want to leave and do. So I started up a website called coffinconfessions.com. And basically people can go on there and they have their own login and password and they can upload their own eulogy, message to a loved one or revenge, whatever it is. Doesn't matter what it is, but they can do it. No one can access it but them. And they have to nominate a next of kin or a couple of people that know they've done this. They don't have to know what's in it, but they know they've done it. And then upon their passing, when I'm notified, I'll release that password and login to the next of kin or whoever they nominate. And then it's up to them what they do. But since then, I've another side of the actual business has come into effect where people are now saying to me, look, can you please go to my viewing after I die? And, you know, some people are saying, look, take a needle with you, pinprick me, make sure I'm dead because I'm scared to death of being buried alive. Then some people are requesting that I put their mobile phone in the coffin or alcohol or make sure there's a CB radio so they can, you know, it's ridiculous. Some of the, it's out there.
Boy, yeah, you better begin to start thinking about who do you want to play you in the movie. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I really don't know. It's out there. Yeah, it's cool.
Boy, this is really entertaining. This service is pretty intriguing, actually. I could see, I could see you being very busy for decades to come.
Well, no doubt. You've got to think, everybody on this planet has a story, and everybody on this planet has a skeleton in the closet. It doesn't matter what it is, where it is, you know, and how long ago it was. We may even know something about somebody else that nobody else knows, and it could be the most dangerous, worst thing, or it could be the most beautiful thing. but you're able to depart and let everybody know.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, the thing about this is, you know, the pandemic having a negative effect on families, tearing families apart, causing friction. Boy, it's more business for you in the afterlife.
Yeah. Oh, it's been amazing how many people have started thinking about death and you know, exactly the afterlife and what's to come and everything. And we're not going to escape it. The one commodity in life that we can never buy is time. It's going to happen.
Right.
You know, and it's, you know, it's inevitable. So we go out every morning, we say goodbye to our loved ones, have a nice day, everything else. And then we even plan for funerals sometimes. You know, there's people that say, oh, let's plan for a funeral. So you pay in advance just in case you die and all that. But no one actually leaves a message. Like someone could die today that you really love and it's like, oh, they're gone. Shit, they're gone. That's it. Is there a little message? Is there anything? No, there's nothing. They've gone. So this is a way of just saying, yeah, goodbye.
And you could be the holder of their eulogy and everything until the time comes. Now, before we start wrapping up the show, can you tell us, and maybe you can't, probably the most unusual thing that you've done as far as going into a eulogy and the most unusual thing that you've said to call out someone? Or
I guess there's the extramarital affairs, you know, a brother that has been sleeping with his brother's wife for the last 6 years. That was pretty shocking. Not so much for me, but obviously for those that heard it. But it was like, you know, this guy had found out and he was just being manipulated and used and everything else. So it was his way of saying, you know what, F you, I'm going. You can deal with the aftermath. But, you know, I do have a couple of funerals in the waiting that you know, people have already paid a deposit for. They've already given me the instructions. And one of those I can tell you about, and he's assured me there's no problem. He's an elderly gentleman. And when his funeral comes up and I crash that funeral, his family think for the last 35 years that this man is an astute businessman and he's great at what he does. However, 35 years ago, he won a lot of money in what they call gold lotto in Australia. And it was a lot of money. And he's never worked a day in his bloody life. But his family think he's an astute businessman. So he's got a little plan when he goes. He's going to leave them all something, but he's also going to confess to them that, you know what, I've never worked a day in my life. You know? It's quite funny. But and things like that. And then you get your beautiful ones that people want to leave a message after they die, or I deliver a gift. You know, 4 weeks after someone's died, I've actually delivered a bottle of wine and flowers, you know, and a letter. So, I mean, there's some beautiful things that can be done too. Yeah,
that's true. That's true. Boy, this has been entertaining, I tell you. And just not only entertaining, but just the thought of what can be done with this is just absolutely amazing. I'm already thinking of that. I may be sending you some emails. Feel free to block me if I get too annoying. But, oh, man, this could go on and on. Boy, I tell you, we appreciate you coming on, and telling us about your organization and what you do. And again, this is Coffin Confessor, and so you can look him up on Facebook. And you also have a website, right? That website is?
That's right. Yeah, the coffinconfessions.com.
All right.
You got the Facebook page and you got Instagram at the Coffin Confessor.
Great. Great. So, boy, I tell you what, enjoy the weather. Is there anything else you want to tell us before we say goodbye?
No, I think we've covered everything so far. I mean, look, I'll keep you up to date about the book, the movie, the drama series, or whatever it comes about.
Yeah. I've got some suggestions for who could play you. Obviously, I won't pick a Kiwi because I know how delicate that situation is. I'll make sure it's an Aussie.
Some people have actually suggested a woman play the role because they've got the soft and the hard side as well. So who knows?
True. Yeah. Well, listen, we appreciate it, and you have a great day, and we wish you the best, and looking forward to seeing the movie.
So you take care, and thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. You take it easy. Have a great day for now, and we wish everyone a very safe evening, and we'll say goodbye for now. And now, Sam Ellie. Hello, welcome to our show. Our guest today is Sam Ellie, and he is here to talk to us about Rebuilding Together Duneland, which is an organization which goes out periodically into the neighborhoods and helps folks out who need maybe a repair or upgrade in their house. And Sam, so why don't you tell us a bit about yourself and a little bit more about Rebuilding Together?
Sure. So Rebuilding Together Duneland is our local affiliate that services the basically the Duneland school district area. So, Chesterton, North Valpo, primarily those areas, Porter, Burns Harbor, and stuff like that. So basically, we've got a board of about 12 of us who we meet year round and prepare for our annual work day, which is typically the last Saturday of April. This year it's a little bit different. It's going to be on October 3rd. So basically what we do is we come together to raise money and gather volunteers, and we want to restore warmth, safety to Duneland residents that need it and don't have the means to make improvements, whether that is a new roof or new windows or painting their house, or we widen doors and we put in grab bars, and we install a lot of wheelchair ramps, and a lot of those things that I just named. Those really, Bill, are kind of skilled, but we bring together probably an average about 450 volunteers on that day every year. Obviously, they're not all skilled, so what we do is we put our skilled people where they need to be, and we take our wonderful people that maybe don't have carpentry skills, and we put them on landscaping and painting and decorating and things like that we can do to utilize our resources to help those people. So I've been involved for about 9 years, since I think 2011. I've been on the board for 7 years, and I own a business in Valparaiso. I'm a State Farm agent. Got a beautiful wife, Jennifer, son and a stepson and a black lab, and we're just happy to be a part of this. And we like to do nonprofit stuff and utilize some of our spare time to help others.
That's awesome. So let's talk about the mechanics of Rebuilding Together. So how does one, first of all, say if I'm a lower income person and I can't afford to have a repair done in my house, how do I apply for this, or how do I let you know that I need help with my house?
Sure. Well, believe it or not, our biggest challenge every year is finding people to help. I mean, true. We have wonderful donors. So many of them are there for us year after year. Of course, we try to pick up additional ones for those of you that are watching. But volunteers, the wonderful people of the Duneland community, like I said, we can count like clockwork on our volunteers to come every year and more to join, right? But finding those people is our biggest challenge. So the short answer is go to rtduneland.org, rtduneland.org, and apply. We put applications at a lot of local businesses and churches and in places like that, because a lot of the people that we help are seniors, people on a fixed income, and but it doesn't have to be that way. I mean, it could be anybody, especially these days, where a lot of people are struggling as far as employment and stuff like that goes. So, but the short answer is go to rtduneland.org and you can apply, and we will be excited to get your application. So you just have to be in the Duneland School District area, because there are other affiliates around as well.
Right. And then also, as you said, you really need the volunteers. How do I go to that same site to let you know I want to volunteer? And is there
absolutely,
like, do I put in like if I'm skilled labor or things that I'm good at?
Yeah, it's a form. It's really easy. You're clicking buttons. I'm good at painting. I'm good at carpentry, or I'm good at plumbing, or I just want to be there and smile, or whatever that looks like. So it's basically a form that really guides you through. It's super quick.
Eat the
Put in your
donuts.
shirt size. on a typical year, I'm sure I have the opportunity to talk about the workday, but you'll get a T-shirt. This year it's a mask. So it'll just go through and ask you those questions, your emergency contact info and stuff like that. And from there, we have a volunteer coordinator, Melissa Yeager, who she's going to take all those people, and then we're going to assign a certain number of people per job site that we need. And but that's how you do it, basically. Just go to the website and fill out a volunteer form. Awesome. And please do.
Awesome. And
I'm looking for you there this year too, Bill.
Well, I'll be there one way or another. I may be there filming, or I was just on a Habitat for Humanity site, so they let me sling hammer. They won't let me do drywall work, though, for obvious reasons.
Me either. You have to be an artist to do that properly, and that's not me.
I tell you, every time I go to tape in mud, it looks like the surface of the moon.
Yeah.
I end up sanding it down and sanding it till I have to redo it again. So, boy, this is great. So what are the dates this year for for when you all go out with your volunteers and work on the homes?
Sure. It's October 3rd this year. Normally, again, it's the last Saturday of April. And some people that have been around a while might identify us as Christmas in April, because that's what Rebuilding Together used to be. Right. So it was always the last Saturday of April. This year, because of COVID and everything, we're lucky that we were able to pull it together and even do the modified version that we're doing this year on October 3rd. And basically, rather than putting volunteers inside people's homes, we're focused on two things. Number one, the homes that we're working on are pretty much going to be the homes that really needed a roof before winter. And we've pretty much subcontracted that or used some of our normal roofing crews. Aside from that, the volunteers that we're going to have, we're focused on our community projects, because every year we do a combination of these homeowners that we talked about. That's probably 60% of our workload on Workday every year. The other, say 40%, is going to be community projects that we work on. So whether that's Hawthorne Park or the Art Center of Chesterton or the Duneland Y or the Art Barn of Valpo, those community centers are what we're really focused on, because we want to keep people outdoors and socially distanced and still make a difference. So
another key element also is, where do you get your materials? Are they donated by various different companies? Do you ask for monetary donations and you go out and get the materials? How does that happen?
So basically, the materials we purchase with our fundraising money. So our volunteer work, our manpower, if you will, is all donated. Right. By our volunteers, and maybe some local contractors that come to help us as well. Local electricians, the Chesterton Street Department. Everybody kind of comes together from a workmanship standpoint. It does that. We use our funds to pay for the materials. Now, on these community projects, the deal we have with the community organizations is, you have to pay for your materials, whether that's mulch or new shrubs or paint, whatever that looks like. We supply the manpower. So, but yeah, we pay for the materials. Prior to becoming a State Farm agent, when I was a contractor, worked for a contractor, I would hit up my suppliers and try to get some free stuff, but in general, we pay for it.
Yeah. So let me ask you, say community projects, how far does that go? Because especially with the COVID now, there's municipalities that are struggling and, are looking at laying off key people. Do you get involved in municipalities? Say if the town of Chesterton needed some upgrade work in a park or something of that nature, is that within your scope? Okay.
Yeah, certainly. I think it was last year we did some sort of work on like downtown Chesterton, where all of the light posts are. We did some work on some of those. I mean, because there's things that municipalities only have so much funding as well, but the residents still want their town to be beautiful. So that's why we try to do a mixture. The primary focus is the homeowners. The secondary is going to be these community projects. So, for example, some of the projects we're doing this year: the Chesterton Arts Center, the Coffee Creek Watershed, which is a great one, the 4th Street Theater, Coffee Creek Park, Hawthorne Park, in the YMCA. Normally, we were going to be doing some work at the Art Barn as well, but they have an event on our rescheduled dates. But so, we understand that those organizations have limited funding, but they have needs, and we have volunteers, and we are eager. So the whole point is to make our community better, so it all works out.
Exactly, and getting the community connected through working together is awesome. That can never be bad. So, man, this sounds absolutely wonderful, and
it's wonderful.
Yeah, and I'm definitely. I still have to get my calendar coordinated when Kelly gets back, but yeah, I will definitely at least come out, visit the site, and see what we can do. You may not want us working on the site. So, well. No.
Well, there's always mulch to spread, Bill.
Yeah. I may be able to do that. No, I'm pretty good at some other things. So, let me see. Gosh, this is, so we know how to volunteer. We know how to donate. Fundraisers. Do you have, like, specific fundraisers you use to get the funds, and what do those look like?
Well, we've done some stuff. We tried our hand at a 5K a couple years ago and around Coffee Creek. That was pretty cool. We really get the majority of our funding from local businesses. I mean, we really do. So that's where the bulk of the money comes from. I mean, every year, Leroy's is very generous, and I work with Don and Leroy and Bubba over there, and we put on a benefit ride. Typically, it's the day after workday. It was what it was going to be this year in April. Of course, we're not doing anything like that right now, but that generates maybe more excitement than money, but it's a cool way to get people together and spread the word. But in general, it comes from, a lot of different local organizations, some big ones, some small ones, even private party donors that want to make, they want to donate every year and have a house in their name or a family member's name.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. And then we pull together, and I can talk about the way a normal workday goes, which might be good for viewers to see as well. But, okay, so I'll just do that, and it'll explain kind of how some other local businesses help. So in a typical year that's not 2020, basically the way it works is on workday, everybody shows up at Westchester Intermediate School first thing in the morning. We're eagerly waiting there. The school staff is donating their time and cooking breakfast. The school bus drivers are donating their time and lined up outside with buses with magnet numbers on them going to per site. The volunteers come in. They get this awesome breakfast. We have local, like Bigby Coffee is there with coffee. Family Express donates pastries. Yeah. This is all what I do, basically, logistics of it. So the people come in, they find, they already know what site they're on, and they go to that site. We have tables clustered in the lunchroom, and they'll eat, and then the board will get up there and we'll address the day's safety, things to look out for, what to do in the case of an emergency, just all the details of how the day goes. Everybody finishes eating, and then they go and they walk out and they get on the respective buses. The buses take them to the site, and then they have a house captain that is giving them direction, kind of a project manager, if you will. And he's going to say, we need this many people here to rake, and we need this many people here, and we got the carpenters working on this right now. We're going to replace this garage door, whatever that looks like. And they're going to work. We have a porta potty on site. We have a dumpster at many of the locations. It's a lot of fun. We'll play music. People talk, get to know new people. We're bettering the houses. And I can tell you, back when I was a house captain, there was both times I did that. One was a single mom whose house burned. And we worked way more than that day, actually. I was getting people there a lot of other days, but we basically rebuilt their house because she didn't have insurance, and they needed a place to live. The next year was a wonderful elderly woman who was basically wheelchair bound, and she sat in her living room all day and talked to our volunteers and talked to me with tears in her eyes as we replaced flooring. We painted her entire house. We built a new wheelchair ramp for her. We did all this in one day. It was awesome. So, so you're on site interacting with the homeowners, and you're working, you're making new friends, and then all of a sudden we show up with George's Gyro spot, and Paul over there, Paul Palace, puts together an awesome lunch for everybody, and everybody gets to sit down and eat and have a beverage and finish out the day. And then afterwards, we all go to Gelsosimo's in Chesterton, and we've got live music playing, and we've got a pizza bar, and everybody's celebrating the accomplishments of the day. And Ron and his staff over there at Gelsosimo's do a great job.
You had me at George's Gyros, okay?
Well, I see you drooling. We better get you some food.
Yeah, my board is going to get shorted out here pretty soon. Gosh, that sounds great.
That's how the day goes.
Yeah, so you have people providing lunch breaks, dinner, and just so people can keep going and get the job done. Oh man, this sounds awesome.
You give us one day of your year, and we make a massive difference together for everybody in the community. It's awesome. And that's why I keep coming back every year, and I don't plan to stop.
Yeah, and this is one thing that holds communities together. Work like this, going out and helping each other, getting connected, whether you meet someone while you're working on a floor, painting, whatever, you're getting connected with them, you're getting connected to the people that need the work, and it just makes the community all together stronger. So this is great work you guys are doing. And when we review, before we start wrapping up some things and make sure we got everything covered that you need to, okay, so tell us about the website that they go to, again, to apply and for both to have work done and to volunteer.
Sure. Go to rtduneland.org. You can see a lot of stuff on there. You can see pictures of previous work days. You can see how to apply as a volunteer, how to apply as a homeowner. If you see this and you know somebody in the Duneland community that that has a need to keep their house, warm, safe, and dry, and I think pride gets in a lot of way for a lot of people, Bill.
Yeah.
And I understand that for sure. What's important to understand is that we're here asking to help you or somebody that you know. So. Everything is very discreet as far as our selection process and our vetting and stuff like that. We take that very seriously. So please spread the word, spread our website, tell people about it. Maybe it's not for 2 years from now, but you identify somebody that needs help. Here we are. So rtduneland.org is where to go. Certainly you can refer to this. My name is Sam Alley. You can always reach out to me as well. Find me anywhere on social media or in my business or whatever, and I can direct you in the right direction as well. So we're looking for homeowners. We need them. We need applications. Hopefully 2021 is right back on track. So we're already accepting applications for 2021. We're ready right now.
Awesome. Boy, this sounds like, again, at the risk of sounding repetitive, this sounds like great work. Boy, you guys are doing a great job, I tell you. So when we start wrapping up the show here, is there anything else you want to share with us before we say goodbye?
I don't think so. I just really appreciate what you're doing, you and Callie, and your efforts to help promote things like this, nonprofits. If everybody in every community gave a day, just gave a little bit of themselves, maybe you don't have time, maybe you got extra cash. Maybe you don't have extra cash, but you have time. Maybe you don't have either, but you just want to do something great. Things like this are where it's at. I mean, it really will be a fulfilling, positive thing for you. And in students, the students at Chesterton High School, we get a ton of them on that day. Yeah. And, the football team, we'll put those guys out on the heavy stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, we do it every year, and they love it. And, so it's important to bring kids. And if you have a child that's over 14, what a great way to show them how to give back. Bring them out, sign them up, bring them out with you, and show them what it means to see that lady sitting in her chair with tears in her eyes because so many people care about her living out the rest of her life in a comfortable, warm, safe, dry manner. Yeah. It's a big deal. So I guess that's my closing statement. We want you. So come on out and join us, please.
Definitely, definitely. So we'll get all the word out there and make sure I'll dig up the website and get some graphics incorporated. Boy, Sam, boy, we appreciate you coming on and telling us about this neat program. It is definitely neat,
Sounds
and
great.
it's one of the things that makes the Duneland area really vibrant, progressive, and just a bunch of warm, welcoming folks. And this is part of it, as far as I'm concerned. And it shows that we all care about the community and willing to roll up our sleeves and help other folks out that need it. And in these times, boy, there's more and more people that will need it. And so, Sam,
Yes.
listen, we appreciate you coming on, and we'll have to have you back on again after, so maybe we could share with folks what was done on the 3rd. That sound good?
I appreciate the opportunity.
That'd be
Bill.
great.
Thank
We
you.
will love it. Well, with that, we'll wrap up the show and say goodbye for now.
Thanks, Bill. Be well.
You too. Well, that's it for the show tonight. And now we'll hand it over to our special musical guest, Lou, who is going to wrap up the evening with some nice music for us. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we wish you a very safe and pleasant evening. With that,
Hello, everyone. This is a song called The Lone Ranger. When you walked into the room with that smile upon your face, right then and there I knew I loved you. And there was no doubt in my mind when you promised we'd last forever. And I believed in what you said, but you threw it all away. Tonight the Lone Ranger rides again. I hide my eyes behind a mask that cannot hide the pain. Didn't I love you the best that I can? But everybody knows the good guys always finish last. Tonight the Lone Ranger rides again. Well, it had to be this way. No one's right and no one's wrong. That's what you wrote me in your letter. And it's been so long since that day. Somehow I thought things would get better. But when I face the truth, I'm still missing you. Tonight the Lone Ranger rides again. I hide my eyes behind a mask that cannot hide the pain. Didn't I love you the best that I can? But everybody knows the good guys always finish last. Tonight the Lone Ranger rides again. So much for heroes when there's nothing left to say. And I'm no exception to the rule. Oh, no, 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 no. Tonight the Lone Ranger rides again. I hide my eyes behind a mask that cannot hide the pain. love you the best that I can. But everybody knows the good guys always finish last. Tonight the Lone Ranger rides. Tonight the Lone Ranger rides. Tonight the Lone Ranger rides again.
This episode of The Bill and Callie Show is brought to you by Sip Coffee House 2 in Highland, Indiana on Jewett Avenue. Great coffee, lattes, smoothies, and more. Food and treats you will adore. Small town charm with big city selection. It's Sip Coffee House 2.